I made a video a while back where I was cleaning this pistol, and I was cleaning it with this rod going from the muzzle back, and had a few comments, some more respectful than others, saying I shouldn't do that, right? So let's take a look at what the implications are about why you shouldn't clean from the muzzle back, and instead you should clean from the chamber end out. The other don't do this video I've also seen was, I believe it was like a 22, and I'll just demonstrate with this barrel. But the expert was telling somebody, don't, when you push your brush, make sure that you don't push it so far that you go past, because when you pull it back, you risk hitting the muzzle, right? So I'm not, if I can find the video, I'll post a link, but they said not to go past the brush, because when you pull it back in, you could risk damaging the muzzle. And I just don't see it, because whether you go from the back, from the chamber end into, and potentially scrape the muzzle, or whether you go in from the muzzle end back, especially with a rifle, you're still scraping just the brush, hopefully just the brush against the edge of the muzzle. I'm just not seeing it, right? Because most of these are brass, and brass is much softer than whatever the barrel steel is, hopefully, or aluminum, right? So I can sit here and scrape on this muzzle all day long with this aluminum, and it's not going to damage the muzzle in any way at all. I'm breaking into this video to give you this video. Now, the other thing I wanted to mention that I forgot during the shooting of the previous video is that most modern cleaning rods and cleaning equipment, even if you went from the muzzle first, I find it really hard to damage the muzzle, because the brush is made out of either brass or copper. This appears to be copper. The actual wire twist that the brush is in is brass. I guess the stud or whatever that screws into the actual rod is brass, and the rods are usually aluminum. Now, I do have some steel rods, and you should be very careful, but even if you use the steel rod, the brush itself is going to be brass or aluminum. See, these have aluminum studs there. I don't know what the heck that's called, just wedges. And so even if you went in, you've got a rounded steel, hold it this way, rounded steel bar, right? And this is probably mild steel, so you're just going, hopefully you're only going right like that, to where you're not, you don't have the blunt end hitting up against the muzzle of your pistol. I mean, you'd have to really be doing something wrong. So I've got the steel cleaning end, brush end. So even if you go in there, the round part of the brush is what's hitting up inside. Now, are you gonna get some wear, some unnecessary wear? Yeah, if you clean your gun like every day, or multiple times a day, but I'm not too worried about that, right? So back to your regularly scheduled video. So if anybody out there has bona fide proof that after years of cleaning with a brass brush with an aluminum stud that it has caused muzzle wear, let me know. Link the video below and I'll go take a look. But in my experience, I've never had any issue with muzzle wear. The question that always comes up, well, the question for me that comes up when people say that you should always only go from the chamber back and not from the muzzle in. Well, what have people been doing with revolvers all these years, right? I guess, well, even with this brush, nowadays you could probably use a bore snake or something, but then you'd have to push some kind of string through there and then pull the bore snake out the muzzle end. But you know, I've been cleaning my revolvers this way for years. Yeah, it's a little inconvenient because back here you can get this dirty, but I've never personally had a problem with that. So I'm gonna keep cleaning from the muzzle back and go from there. Okay, here's the actual Smith & Wesson 40 SVE or whatever it was that I actually had in the video where I was cleaning from the muzzle back. So let's see how accurate it is to hit a man-sized target at 40 yards. Out of 14. I'd say it's still pretty accurate. Okay, this is obviously a very, very old auto. It's a Ruger P95 that I got used from somebody, and I'm sure they've cleaned it from the muzzle down, and I know I have. So let's see, you know, if it's what the accuracy is on it. All right, let's go take a look. Well, it looks like doesn't really affect the accuracy for that one, right? So it's predominantly where I was hitting, and yeah, I got a little bit of outlier. It's still within the fist there, still in the black. So yeah, so far I don't really have a heartache about cleaning from the muzzle back personally, if the reason is only because you're going to damage the muzzle, which will throw off your accuracy. So
Somebody please.
that deserves a little cowbell. Knuckle bump.